Hey YouTubers, this is Bird Brett coming at you on May 9th, 2016. I am watching my daughter eat, so I might be a little slightly distracted. It is Tuesday. It's really shit outside, so I'm able to catch up on videos and record this one. So, the reason I'm bringing you this video today is because MinnieMeInTN Tennessee had requested that post-oppers reflect back on the things that they did pre-op and list 5 things that if they had to go back and do it all over again, they would do it all over again. Things that they're very glad that they did pre-op and it has helped them so far post-op. So I wanted to get this done really quickly. My daughter has been ridiculous today. She's so clingy. I got to get her in daycare or something. I don't need to put her in daycare, but I feel like it would help, like, her social thing. She's really a ham like her dad is, and she needs that social interaction. It's just starting to get a little bit too much for Mama to have her constantly touching me and clinging to me, and like I can't get a moment's like without her touching me or something. I don't know. I love my daughter to tears, to death, but you know, she needs to get out of the house just a little bit to give me some space. Okay. So let me get right into this list so this isn't a horribly long video. The 5 things that I would do, again, pre-op. Okay. First things first. When I started looking to the surgery, I started incorporating right away the rules of the surgery. So the things that I was supposed to do post-op, I started incorporating pre-op. The rules. So no drinking with meals. Low carb, so I really reduced the amount of carbs I took in, and that was a progression. Like that took me a long time to get it down to 30 grams, whereas where I'm at right now, not including fiber. So it took me a long time to get used to not having carbs. Yeah, that was a fight for internally. That was a fight. Things like that. High protein. I started looking into protein shakes and protein powders and how much protein I should get in a day, and then I started incorporating the vitamins that I would require after surgery, the biotin and the calcium and the multivitamins, all those things I started incorporating right away to kind of get used to the way that this is going to affect my body. The one thing that I wish I did focus on more was how quickly I eat. I'm a fast eater. It has really severe consequences after surgery. You just tend to get sick and full quick, and it's not fun. Veronica, eat your food with your fork. It's not necessarily the funnest thing to deal with after surgery. And I wish I would have focused way more on slowing down my food rather than the drinking with meals thing, because I do find that the drinking with meal things is really easy to abstain from because the severe consequence almost immediately after I take a sip of water when I eat, versus eating really quickly doesn't tend to kick in until a little bit while after you did it, and then you're like, holy shit, I ate too fast. It's a problem I'm struggling with, and it's a problem that probably won't go away. I have a feeling as much as I try to stave it off, it just slips my mind and I do it. So it's always going to be something I battle, I think. Thank you, baby. So that is my number one thing. Incorporate as much about your pre-op or your post-op life into your pre-op life, and the transition will be a lot smoother for you, being that the surgery is such a life-changing thing. It's best to kind of try and get used to some of these things before the surgery actually happens. Veronica, okay. Eat your lunch. Oh, okay. She's probably singing to herself or singing to the cat. I don't know. Okay, and you will hear the cartoon on. I am so sorry, but you'll hear barks and meows and sheeps and shit like that. So, the next thing is to journal my experience. That is something that I am very glad I started doing pre-op. I'm very glad I'm still doing it. It's extremely helpful to look back on my experience and see where I was at. It's kind of like a reality check for me. It definitely puts things in perspective. If things in my head are thinking like I didn't think I was that big, it definitely puts that in the forefront and shows me, yes, you were that big, and look how far you've come, because sometimes it's very difficult to look in the mirror and think that I've come down 70 pounds from my starting weight. It doesn't look like that to me. I mean, I do think I've come a long way. It's hard to see that in the mirror. It doesn't feel like 70 pounds. Just, I don't know. It's a weird mind trick that your mind plays on you. When you're big, you think you're small, and when you're small, you think you're big. So it's just this weird body dysmorphia idea that we have in our heads. And I think that taking pictures and journaling your experience and YouTubing it is extremely helpful when it comes to seeing where you have come from. And it's also motivating. Like, this is psychologically tough on a lot of us. And I think that looking at where you've come to where you are now is definitely motivating and helpful when you have down times. And maybe when the scale isn't moving, it's really helpful. So I would definitely suggest anybody doing that. I'm not saying you have to do YouTube if you don't like that, but at least you could do blogs where you're not like your face isn't in the picture all the freaking time, or you could just journal on your own, take pictures on your own, keep your own records. But I think it is important to keep some record of what is going on, especially at the beginning, so that when you get a year down, 2 years down, you can look back and say, I'm never going to go back there. So number 3 is research. Research. I am so glad that this is just the type of person I am. I just tend to research things. I like to know exactly what's going to happen. It's my way of controlling the situation. I like to have control. So that was a way for me to control it, is to decide my doctor, research my doctor. I went to healthgrades.com and picked my doctor through that, and then matched it through my insurance. So I picked the best hospital and the best doctor I could possibly go to. I made sure that he was within my area that I could actually go to, that he was within my own opinions. Like, I didn't pick a doctor that, no, eat your lunch. I didn't pick a doctor that would disagree with my opinions necessarily. What I mean is, like, when I researched, I found a lot of doctors that only do lap bands, push lap bands. And you want to make sure that you get a doctor that's more neutral, that isn't going to pick something that he wants to do, is going to pick something that is in your best interest to do. So that's why I picked the doctor that I picked. He is a very neutral person. He has these surgeries, and he doesn't have a preference. He picks based on your need. And that is what I needed. I liked the hospital that I chose. It's a good hospital. Also to research, like, the type of surgery you want, what you think is going to fit for you. Also picking the surgery or understanding what's going to happen to you after surgery. These are huge changes that you're going to make. And the more that I knew about what was going to happen to me, the better it felt. And the more reassured I was that the surgery was the right choice for me. I couldn't imagine going into this blind. It's just not one of those people. And it really helped me to know exactly what I was getting myself into. And I think that for anybody who's looking into these surgeries, it is extremely important to understand what's going to happen to you, because it is a drastic surgery. And the last thing you want to be is unprepared or have a very limited knowledge, because one person's opinion is not knowledge. That's just one person's opinion. It's better to, like, go out there and find many opinions and many facts, even if they're contradictory, because then you have the full story. So, research. The next thing I would definitely say is important, let me think about this, is to find your support, and through a community. My community is YouTube. I live too far away to go to support groups every week. I'm not willing to drive that distance it would take to get to one every week. And with this surgery, I need something constantly, some constant reinforcement, some constant help. I need someone to look to get ideas from. And I find that the YouTube WLS community is extremely helpful in that. I find that the Facebook community is okay. And the reason I say it's okay is because there are a lot of negative Nancy's out there, and there's also a lot of food Nazis. So you have to be kind of careful. There's also a lot of people doing wrong things that you will find. I mean, you're going to find that everywhere, and you have to keep in mind that you are your own person, and what's going to work for one person is going to work for you. But I like the YouTube community specifically because I've never gotten a negative thing on YouTube, and I'm not saying it never happened, but it's just been positive, and I love the community, and I think that this would be extremely difficult without it. A lot of the YouTube community helps me deciding like things I want to buy and like discovering new protein and discovering new ways to do things, and it's really cool. I would suggest anybody to look into support groups or some kind of community, whether it be forums or YouTube or Facebook or whatever path you choose. I would suggest you pick some kind of support, because even though the people in your life may support you, they're not going through the same thing as you're going through, and it is nice to have somebody who understands and can sympathize, because they just get it. It clicks for them. So it is nice to have that, rather than being completely alone and being like nobody understands what I'm going through. So that is definitely like a big thing for me. My fifth thing is fitness, and I know this is kind of like you'll get it pushed on you when you do this. Fitness is extremely important, and although when it comes to your weight loss, it's going to be only like 25, it's only going to affect you about like 25%. Like, your diet is huge. Your diet is like a chunk, like 75%, and I'm not citing any sources. I'm just saying your diet is extremely important when it comes to weight loss. Your fitness isn't so important when it doesn't affect your weight loss as much. It helps way more with maintenance than it does with weight loss. However, muscle building helps with weight loss, and that comes from fitness. And you can lose a ton of weight without doing any weight, without doing any like strength training or anything like that. And you could probably lose a ton of weight without doing any fitness. There are a lot of people who go through this whole thing and don't work out at all, and they lose weight still. That's not the point, though. The point isn't necessarily the weight loss when it comes to fitness. It is about health. So a lot of us have the surgery to be super, super healthy, because we're going down a path that is unhealthy. We could, even if we're not unhealthy, which, some people are and some people aren't, even if we're not unhealthy when we have the surgery, we see that is where we're going. So the fitness isn't more about maintenance, maintaining your weight loss. It's more about health, making sure we have some cardiovascular health, making sure that, our muscles are healthy, that our joints and our bones and everything are functioning to its peak. I'm obviously some of those exercises could deteriorate those things as well, but the whole point is so that you can be physically fit, so that you can keep up with your kids, so that you can live a long life, and you don't have to go to the gym to do that. You don't have to bust your ass in some sweaty freaking gym to do that. You don't have to spend a fortune to have physical fitness. My suggestion and what I did to get into the fitness thing is I found, and I'm very happy I did before surgery, is I found things that I love to do and went balls to the wall with them. So I like to walk. So I'm going balls to the wall walking, and I'm like freaking putting tons of effort into doing that one thing. I also like to bike, so I bought a bike last year. It was before the surgery. Even when I was thinking about the surgery, I bought a bike because I like to bike, and I was trying to get physical fitness that I like to do, that I love to do, something that I see myself doing in the future and could actually get enthusiastic about. And that, I think, is what needs to be done before surgery so that you can continue doing it after surgery, is finding something that you love to do that has to do with physical exertion. And I'm not saying everybody likes physical exertion. I would say just pick the lesser of the evils. Like, you're going to want to pick something. You're going to want to have some kind of physical fitness in your life when it comes to maintaining your weight loss. So you're going to have to pick something. And it's best to pick something that you like doing, at least can tolerate doing, rather than pick something that you absolutely hate, because then it's going to be a chore and you're not going to want to do it. Like, I would never want to go to the gym and just lift weights all day long. I would do it because I'm like, oh, I got to do it. But it would be a chore, and I hate chores. So that's why I don't like doing dishes. So that's like my number, like that's the end thing, because I mean, really, if you're looking at weight loss and fitness doesn't really, when in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't do a whole hell of a lot when it comes to losing weight. What it helps with is your health and maintaining your weight loss. So that's really what that comes into play. And the sooner that you incorporate that, and the sooner that I incorporated that, the more it helped me, and it'll probably help you as well. And most of the time you'll hear YouTubers say the same thing. They'll say, I should have got my fitness on from like on point from the beginning, or I'm glad I had my fitness on point from the beginning. It is a common theme when it comes to weight loss because of maintenance, and that's mainly why. Maybe I'm yelling at everything in my house is going crazy here. Anyway, Veronica, eat your pouch. Anyways, guys, so that is my 5 things I'm glad I did before surgery and I would do again in a heartbeat, including having the surgery. Okay, guys, so I will see you on Thursday with my regular update. Bye.